Peace isn't a destination, it's a practice. It's not something you can simply arrive at once and for all. It's something you choose every single day. It's the quiet within, the calm that's stronger than the noise around you. In this world that constantly tells us to hustle, to chase, and to push through, we often lose sight of the most important thing, our peace. There will always be things that try to pull you away from it, people, expectations, circumstances. But peace is not the absence of challenges. It's the ability to stand in the storm and still feel grounded. It's the ability to walk through the chaos and hold on to your center. And it starts with understanding that you have control over your response, not over what happens, but over how you choose to react. When you let external forces dictate your inner peace, you give away your power. You become reactive instead of responsive. You become a bystander in your own life, caught in the undertow of other people's opinions, judgments, or circumstances that are beyond your control. But here's the truth. No one can take your peace unless you let them. No situation, no matter how difficult, can steal your peace unless you allow it to. This isn't about denying your emotions or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about acknowledging the reality of your feelings, honoring them, and then making a conscious choice to protect your peace. To not let the noise and distractions outside drown out your inner calm. You see, protecting your peace isn't about creating a perfect, serene life. It's about setting boundaries. It's about knowing when to step back and say no to things that don't serve you. It's about saying yes to what truly nourishes you, your relationships, your health, your soul. It's about building resilience so that when life gets tough, you know how to restore yourself. And here's the powerful thing. When you protect your peace, you not only protect yourself, you also create space for others to do the same. When we stand firm in our peace, we send out an invitation for others to stand firm in theirs. And in that space, connection, understanding, and compassion can thrive. So today, I challenge you to take a moment and ask yourself, what is taking my peace? What am I allowing to affect my sense of calm and joy? And what steps can I take to protect it? Because peace is a choice, and it starts with you. So often we think of peace as something we can arrive at, like reaching the summit of a mountain after a long climb. We picture it as this serene, unshakable state of calm that we'll finally experience once everything in our life is in perfect order. Once the chaos settles down, once the to-do list is empty, once we've fixed all the problems around us, that's when we'll have peace. But the truth is, peace isn't a one-time achievement. It's not something you achieve and then forget about. It's not an end goal, but rather an ongoing process, a continuous practice. It's about showing up day after day and choosing to align your mind, body, and spirit with a sense of calm, no matter the circumstances. Peace is not something external that we can check off a list. It's something internal, something we cultivate from within, and it requires our conscious effort and attention. In a world that is constantly shifting, where everything feels like it's moving faster than we can keep up, the idea of reaching a state of permanent peace becomes an illusion. Life is full of ups and downs, challenges and joys, moments of calm and moments of chaos. So if we wait for everything to fall into place before we allow ourselves to feel peace, we'll likely be waiting forever. Instead of thinking of peace as a destination, consider it more like a muscle. It's something that grows and strengthens the more you practice it. Just like any other skill, the more you train your mind and heart to return to a place of calm amidst the storm, the easier it becomes to hold on to that peace. Some days will be better than others. Some days you may feel more centered than you did the day before. And on other days, you might feel like you're losing grip on it. But that's okay. What matters is that you continue to come back to it day after day, moment after moment. The beauty of seeing peace as a practice is that you can always return to it. It's not something that disappears when life gets difficult. It's a place you can always come back to no matter how far you've wandered. Each day offers you a new opportunity to choose peace, to center yourself, and to realign with what truly matters. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency, about finding your center again and again. In essence, peace isn't the end of the journey, it's the journey itself. And it's through the practice of peace, through the repeated return to calm, that we begin to transform ourselves and the world around us. Because the more we practice peace, the more it becomes a part of who we are. And that's when peace starts to ripple out into every area of our lives, influencing how we interact with others, how we approach challenges, and how we experience the world. So instead of seeing peace as something you'll eventually get once the circumstances align, embrace it as something you get to practice every day. It's not about waiting for a perfect moment. It's about finding peace in the imperfect, messy, beautiful moments of life. This is one of the most powerful truths about peace. It is ultimately yours to protect. External forces, whether they come in the form of people, circumstances, or events, cannot reach inside and disrupt your inner peace unless you give them permission to. In other words, the power to preserve or lose your peace lies within you in how you choose to respond to what's happening outside of you. We live in a world that constantly bombards us with distractions and pressures. People have opinions about us, situations unfold that seem beyond our control, and life throws curveballs at us that can feel overwhelming. From societal expectations to personal setbacks, there are always things vying for our attention, demanding that we react. And let's be real, the temptation to react to these forces is strong. We want to fight, defend, prove ourselves, or let our emotions take over. It's natural to want to respond when we feel triggered, upset, or unfairly treated. But the truth is, no external force can take your peace unless you give into it, unless you allow it to take root inside you. Think about it. When you allow yourself to be swept up in the anger or frustration from a place of calm and clarity instead of reacting from a place of fear, anger, or anxiety. This doesn't mean ignoring your emotions or pretending that everything is fine when it's not. It means acknowledging your feelings and then choosing how to navigate them. It's about recognizing that you have the power to control your response, not the event itself. For example, someone might say something hurtful or unfair to you. Your first instinct might be to react, to defend yourself, to argue, or to try to make them see things your way. But if you step back and take a moment to breathe, to ground yourself in your peace, you might realize that reacting in the heat of the moment won't serve you. Instead, you can choose to respond with understanding or even with silence, knowing that your peace is more important than proving a point or winning an argument. External forces, no matter how loud or overwhelming they may seem, do not have the ultimate power over you. They may be difficult or challenging, but you get to decide how much weight they carry in your life. The moment you give away your peace is the moment you let external circumstances define your worth, your sense of security, or your emotional state. But peace isn't meant to be given away. It's meant to be protected and nurtured. The beauty of this truth is that while we can't control everything that happens to us, we do have control over how we let it affect us. And when we stand firm in our inner peace, we not only protect ourselves, but we also model what it looks like to live with resilience and grace. We create a space where we can move through challenges with a sense of calm, knowing that no matter what happens around us, we're the ones in control of our inner world. This doesn't mean you become immune to the pain or frustration of life. You will still feel emotions and you will still face difficult situations. But when you choose not to let those external forces dictate your inner state, you create a sense of freedom, a freedom that no one and nothing can take away from you. Your peace becomes a shield that protects you, not from the world, but from the power that the world's forces might have over your emotional well-being. The key to all of this is remembering you have the power. You get to decide how you engage with life. You get to decide how much weight to give to people's words, to the circumstances you face, or to the challenges that arise. And when you consciously choose to protect your peace, you are choosing to live in alignment with what matters most to you, your values, your boundaries, your well-being. So remember, external forces can only take your peace if you let them. The moment you choose to stand in your own power to protect your peace is the moment you begin to reclaim your life. You are not at the mercy of the world. You are the one who gets to decide how to respond to it. Boundaries are one of the most powerful tools we have when it comes to protecting our peace. But here's the thing. Setting boundaries isn't always easy. We often think of boundaries as walls we put up to keep others out, but they are so much more than that. Boundaries are a form of self-respect, a way to honor our needs, our energy, and our emotional well-being. They are the invisible lines that define what is and isn't acceptable in our relationships, our work, and our lives. And when we fail to set them, we open the door to emotional overwhelm, burnout, and a loss of peace. At their core, boundaries are about recognizing what you need in order to protect your mental, emotional, and physical space. They are about knowing your limits, what you can and can't tolerate, and honoring those limits in a way that respects both yourself and others. Without boundaries, we are like ships without anchors, tossed around by the waves of other people's expectations, demands, and emotions. We become reactive rather than intentional, allowing others to dictate the terms of our relationships and our lives. But setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, it's an act of self-care. And self-care is a necessary part of protecting your peace. In fact, without boundaries, your peace is vulnerable to being constantly disrupted by outside forces. You might find yourself feeling drained, overwhelmed, and resentful, not because you're weak or incapable, but because you've allowed others' needs and desires to overshadow your own. Think about it. When you don't set boundaries, you often end up overcommitting yourself. You say yes when you mean no because you don't want to disappoint someone or let them down. You give and give even when you're running on empty because you fear what will happen if you put yourself first. And what happens then? You start to feel anxious, stressed, and disconnected from yourself. Your energy is depleted. Your sense of self-worth becomes tied to your ability to please others, and your peace begins to slip away. Boundaries are your way of saying, I matter. My needs matter. My well-being matters. And when you set them, you're not only protecting your peace, you're also teaching others how to treat you. People can't respect your peace if you don't respect it yourself. If you don't show others what's acceptable, how can you expect them to understand your limits? But when you set clear, consistent boundaries, you send the message that your peace is non-negotiable. And when others see you standing firm in your boundaries, they learn to respect them too. Boundaries can be physical, emotional, or mental. They can look different for everyone, depending on your needs and circumstances. For some, physical boundaries might mean needing personal space and time alone to recharge. For others, emotional boundaries might involve limiting how much emotional labor you're willing to take on from others, or choosing not to engage in toxic or draining conversation. Mental boundaries could mean saying no to things that conflict with your values, or taking a step back from situations that cause mental overload. Setting boundaries also means learning to say no. Saying no is one of the most powerful ways to protect your peace. But for many of us, saying no can feel uncomfortable. We worry that we'll disappoint others, that we'll seem rude, or that we'll be judged. But here's the truth. Saying no to something that doesn't align with your values or your well-being is a way of saying yes to yourself. It's an act of honoring your needs, your time, and your energy. And the more you practice saying no, the easier it becomes to stand in your power and protect your peace. Of course, setting boundaries also means holding them. It's not enough to simply declare your boundaries. You must also enforce them. People may push back, they may test your limits, or they may not understand. But when you hold firm in your boundaries, you are sending a clear message that your peace is non-negotiable. It's a way of saying, this is who I am and this is what I need to thrive. And even if others resist or try to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries, it's important to remember that your peace is worth it. In relationships, setting boundaries means being honest about your needs and communicating openly with others. It means being willing to have uncomfortable conversations when someone's behavior is impacting your peace. It means recognizing when a relationship is no longer serving you and having the courage to step away or set limits. It's about creating relationships where mutual respect, understanding, and compassion can flourish, not relationships that drain you or leave you feeling diminished. In your work life, boundaries mean knowing when to disconnect, how to prioritize your time, and when to say no to tasks or projects that will stretch you too thin. It means setting limits around your work hours and taking breaks when needed. In today's world of constant connectivity, work boundaries are essential to prevent burnout and protect your mental and emotional health. But perhaps most importantly, setting boundaries with yourself is just as crucial. You are the one who sets the tone for how others treat you, but you also have the responsibility to honor your own boundaries. This means knowing when you need rest, when you need to step back, and when you need to nurture yourself. It means giving yourself permission to take breaks, to say no to social obligations, and to prioritize your mental and emotional well-being. The more you set and honor your boundaries, the more you will find that your peace remains intact no matter what's happening around you. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are invitations to experience deeper, more authentic relationships. They are tools for creating a life where your peace is protected and your energy is honored. When you establish and enforce healthy boundaries, you create the space you need to thrive, to grow, and to protect what matters most. In a world that often encourages us to suppress, deny, or ignore our emotions, it can feel counterintuitive to say that acknowledging our emotions is an essential part of protecting our peace. But the truth is, our emotions are not our enemies. They are messengers. They are our inner guidance system showing us what matters, what feels safe, and what feels right or wrong for us. When we ignore our emotions, we're essentially shutting down a part of ourselves that's trying to communicate with us. And when we do that, we risk losing touch with our own sense of peace. To protect our peace, we must first embrace our emotions, no matter how uncomfortable they might be. This doesn't mean indulging in every emotion or allowing them to control us. Rather, it means acknowledging them, allowing them to move through us, and giving ourselves the space to feel without judgment. When we allow ourselves to feel our emotions fully, without resistance, we stop fighting against ourselves. And when we stop fighting against ourselves, we create the space for our inner peace to remain intact, even in the midst of challenging feelings. So often we've been taught to push aside emotions like anger, sadness, fear, or frustration, as though they are bad or should be avoided at all costs. We're told to keep it together, move on, or get over it, as though our feelings don't deserve space to exist. But emotions are not problems to be solved, they are experiences to be felt. And when we allow ourselves to experience them without trying to numb, suppress, or deny them, we honor our own humanity. We honor the full range of emotions that make us who we are. Acknowledging our emotions is an act of self-compassion. It's a way of telling ourselves it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to not be okay sometimes. We all have moments of vulnerability, uncertainty, and pain, but in those moments when we give ourselves permission to feel what we're feeling, whether that's sadness, anger, joy, fear, or anything in between, we create the space for those emotions to process and pass. The longer we try to deny or suppress them, the more they persist, creating internal tension and eventually eroding our peace. But when we acknowledge them, we release their grip on us. For example, if you're feeling angry, acknowledging that anger without judgment can help you understand where it's coming from. Are you angry because of an injustice, a boundary violation, a sense of helplessness? Understanding the source of your anger allows you to address the underlying cause, which is key to protecting your peace. When you ignore your anger or try to push it away, you deny yourself the opportunity to heal and move forward. But when you acknowledge it, you empower yourself to take action from a place of clarity, not from reactive emotion. The same holds true for sadness. If you're feeling sad, allowing yourself to feel the sadness without guilt or shame can be deeply healing. We often try to rush through sadness because it's uncomfortable, but it is a natural and necessary part of the human experience. Sadness often arises when we've experienced loss, disappointment, or unmet expectations. By acknowledging it, we allow ourselves to grieve, to release, and to process. And in doing so, we make space for our peace to return. Fear is another emotion that, when acknowledged, can be a powerful ally in protecting our peace. Fear often tries to control us by holding us back, keeping us stuck in avoidance, or causing us to react in ways that don't align with our values. But when we acknowledge our fear, when we bring it into the light, we begin to see it for what it is, a temporary emotion often rooted in uncertainty or the unknown. Fear loses its power when we stop pretending it's not there. Instead of running from it, we can face it with curiosity and compassion, exploring what it's trying to teach us. By acknowledging our fear, we can make informed decisions that protect our peace, rather than allowing fear to dictate our actions or steal our calm. A big part of acknowledging your emotions is also about not over-identifying with them. Just because you're feeling angry, sad, or fearful doesn't mean you are those emotions. Emotions are not permanent states. They are temporary experiences. And when we acknowledge them, we create the space for them to pass. It's like being a witness to the ebb and flow of the ocean. Sometimes the waves are calm and sometimes they crash with intensity. But we are not the waves. We are the space in which the waves move through. In acknowledging our emotions, we recognize that they don't define us. They are simply part of the human experience. Another crucial aspect of acknowledging your emotions is the impact it has on your relationship. When you honor your emotions, you give others permission to honor theirs. Vulnerability creates connection. If you're feeling frustrated, stressed, or overwhelmed, acknowledging those emotions, not only to yourself, but to those around you, can deepen your connection with others. It opens the door to honest, authentic communication and creates a safe space for others to express what they are feeling too. This mutual understanding and empathy are foundational to peaceful, healthy relationships. Protecting your peace isn't about pushing emotions away. It's about embracing them with compassion and understanding. By acknowledging your emotions, you allow yourself to process them in a healthy way. You give yourself the gift of clarity and self-awareness, and you stop allowing unacknowledged feelings to fester and drain your peace. Emotions are not our enemies. They are messengers. And when we listen to them, when we allow them to come and go, we can protect our peace and restore our sense of calm. Remember, emotions are meant to flow through us, not get stuck inside us. So the next time you feel a strong emotion, whether it's joy, grief, anger, or fear, take a moment to simply acknowledge it, notice it, sit with it, honor it, and as you do, you will protect your peace because you will be living in alignment with your true self. You will be allowing yourself the space to feel fully, to process completely, and to heal with grace. By protecting your peace, you create space for others to protect theirs. One of the most beautiful and profound truths about protecting our own peace is that it doesn't just benefit us, it creates a ripple effect that allows others to do the same. Our peace is not an isolated thing, it's part of a collective energy that affects everyone we encounter. When we choose to protect our peace, we don't just safeguard our emotional, mental, and physical well-being, we also invite others to do the same. By creating space for our own peace, we set an example, a standard, and an invitation for those around us to protect theirs too. We often think of peace as something personal, something we must fiercely guard for ourselves. And while that is true, peace is also something that is contagious. It's a living, breathing force that has the power to influence the people around us. When we protect our peace, we essentially set the tone for our environment, our relationships, and our interactions. Our calm presence becomes a quiet invitation for others to find their own peace in our company. Think about a time when you've been around someone who radiates calm and serenity. Maybe it was a friend who seemed unfazed by the chaos of life, a mentor who exuded wisdom and grace, or a stranger whose calmness had a grounding effect on you. There's a certain power in being around someone who has learned to protect their own peace. Their peace doesn't force anything on you, nor does it demand anything of you. It simply exists in such a way that it creates space for you to let go of the tension, anxiety, or chaos that may be swirling around inside you. When we protect our peace, we give others permission to do the same. In relationships, this is incredibly powerful. Think about how often we subconsciously expect others to match our level of stress or anxiety. If we're overwhelmed or agitated, we may inadvertently pull those around us into that emotional space without even realizing it. But when we are intentional about protecting our peace, by setting boundaries, acknowledging our emotions, and responding rather than reacting, we create an environment where others can feel safe to do the same. This doesn't mean we're perfect, nor does it mean that we should avoid difficult emotions or situations. Life is full of challenges, and there are times when our peace will be shaken. But in those moments, when we consciously choose to find our center again, we model to others that peace is always available, no matter what's happening in the external world. And in doing so, we help others see that it's possible to navigate life's storms without losing themselves. Creating space for others to protect their peace also involves understanding that each person's peace looks different. What brings peace to one person may not have the same effect on another. For some, peace comes from quiet moments of solitude. For others, it might be through connection with loved ones or physical activity. When we protect our own peace, we stop imposing our way of finding peace on others. We acknowledge that people are on their own journeys, and we respect their need to find their own path to calm. For example, imagine a family gathering or a work environment where tensions are high, where stress is building, and where everyone seems to be reacting to each other's energy. In those moments, if you choose to protect your peace by staying calm, by speaking with clarity and compassion, by setting boundaries where needed, you create a stabilizing force in the room. Your peace doesn't just help you, it can help others find their grounding too. They may begin to mirror your calmness or may feel safer in your presence to express their own needs and emotions without fear of judgment or conflict. In turn, that helps to create a collective peace that benefits everyone. Similarly, when we are aware of our peace, we understand that we can't force others to protect theirs. We can't control how others react or how they choose to respond to the challenges in their lives. But by holding firm to our own peace, we offer a silent invitation for others to do the same. Our peace becomes an example, showing others that it is not only possible, but necessary to protect one's inner state, regardless of the external world.